Cultural diversity. Why don't black people join the police? An economic examination. African American males are severely underrepresented in police forces all over the country. My contention is that one of the major reasons that this happens is because of prevailing economic conditions and a huge economic disparity that exists in African American communities, which has led to increased crime in those communities and decreased opportunity in those communities. Black men tend to experience police forces all over the country as a collective negative experiences, whereas they really should be able to perceive them as potential employers. The southern states began to integrate their police forces in the 60s, when Jim Crow obviously was still a way of life. All over the United States in the 1960s and 70s, there was a movement, that was a great push to integrate police forces, which was largely as a result of the civil rights movement, which demanded that police open up their ranks to African Americans. Public offices were demanded that they were opened up to everyone equally. Police tend to be a fraternity that invites membership from the lower class. Not a lot of very wealthy and upper class people wanting to join police forces. So it's an opportunity for poor people, poorer populations, to change their lives and to climb up the social and economic ladder. Historic moments when race and poverty have intersected to the detriment of African Americans will be examined in the following slides. Slavery, of course, was probably one of the major institutional initial institutional discrimination, which led to a direction of equity to one group and a removal of resources from one group. Of course, the African American population was a population that was discriminated against. Plessy versus Ferguson, a decision which created the separate but equal condition in the country, which to this day can be seen in educational inequity among African Americans compared to other ethnic groups in this country. The Social Security Act provided support for most of the population in the country during the Depression, and unfortunately 75% of African American employees eligible for Social Security were denied that under that act. The FHA loan denials were guaranteed loans that provided housing, and 98% of those loans went to white people, and black people received 2% of those loans. This obviously has had a very enduring effect in this country because of the impossibility to create generational wealth. This has led to increases of crime in the black community, increases in white flight, lack of diversity and poverty in black communities. The Center for Economic and Policy Research reported in 2008 that African American workers in unions earn more than their non-union peers, which reflects a push for African Americans to join union professions for upward mobility. Typically, the U.S. Army and police forces have offered for poorer populations, the most opportunity to move into the middle class. The U.S. Army and the military do not are very open in their policies and are very diverse groups. Police forces, however, have not been very encouraging for minorities to join. Black people who should want to change their communities for the better find that they do face discrimination if they do join the police forces from their communities and from their colleagues as well. Black officers tend to report major struggles in working in broken black communities, and are really emotionally wrecked by seeing the social forces that shape increased crime in those communities. Black officers tend to make efforts to recruit from their communities despite their experiences with discrimination against them in their own ranks. And they do feel like they make good police because they know the culture, and have insights into safety and support that white officers may not. There are some long-standing economic policies in this country that have created conditions which have limited African American opportunity and affected crime in those communities. I think that the police should recruit actively from the African American community. There's a willing and waiting pool of labor there. Cultural diversity should be the hallmark of a police force and is critical and should be pursued with vigor. Thank you very much. That's a list of the references that I used.